Right, back live with you tonight and in focus. The Ethekwini Municipality has welcomed the court ruling that they bring to an end a protracted ratepayers boycott. The Westville Ratepayers Association had for months stopped paying their rates to the city, but instead into a trust. The move was in protest of tariff increases. The group had taken the municipality to court to stop disconnections due to non-payment of rates. For more on this, I'm joined now by Ethekwini Municipality Head of Legal and Compliance, Malusi Mhlongo. Good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. It's a matter within a matter, so to speak. They declare a Section 102 situation here. You say, well, if you do that, we're going to cut off services. And they say, well, you cannot cut off services because we are paying, but we are paying into a trust. Why do you see this purely as a victory? Because the dispute still remains.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good evening to Mr. Mhlongo and to the viewers. What is critical about this dispute is that it's not a dispute about amounts that are owed to the municipality, but it's a dispute about residents that have opted to boycott payment of monies that are due to the municipality, and they chose to categorize that as a Section 102 dispute, which the court disagreed with.
So you're saying the matter doesn't fall within a Section 102, but they are saying that the passing of the budget, for example, there was no sufficient public participation in the passing of those budget for them to be there enough to raise the issues that they're concerned about. The 427 million fruitless and wasteful expenditure of 2021-2022, the 2 billion rands water loss, the 1.3 billion rands electricity issue as well.
Yes, the complaints that they have may have merit, but that is a completely different process from the dispute about payment. The passing of the budget is an issue that is within the confines of the MFMA. There are processes that are legislated there which were followed, and among the stakeholders that were consulted were communities within which these associations are represented. So there is absolutely no truth that there was no consultation. There might be a debate on whether they regard those consultations as sufficient or not, but there is absolutely no truth in the assertion that there were none whatsoever. But Section 102 is within the confines of the Municipal Systems Act.
Yes.
That is a section that deals with the consolidation of accounts for the customers. So if there is a debate or dispute about any specific amount that is being charged by the municipality to that customer, then that customer disputes that amount, then you can then invoke Section 102. But in this instance, there are no disputes about specific amounts in their bills. Instead, they have opted to boycott payments for rates and services.
Yeah. So they are saying now the city is using its advantage over the ratepayers and will continue in its behavior in this way without any accountability. They're saying what they wanted is accountability. For example, the 346 million lost as highlighted by the Auditor General, and no one is held accountable.
There is no higher accountability in a country that is under the rule of law than being subjected to the court. And the court has agreed with us. That's why the court dismissed their application to interdict the disconnections. They can't, we can't allow lawlessness where the customers can just choose to withhold payments while they are still insisting that they be supplied with services. So if you don't pay for services, you will be disconnected. So there is no taking advantage of anything. But as far as accountability is concerned, as I indicated, that it's a different process altogether. For instance, if they are unhappy about the processes that were followed in passing the budget, there is a route that is available, which is a purger route or a legality route to review and set aside a budget that was passed. If there are people who are not doing their jobs, they can be accountable, they can approach law enforcement agencies. If there are people who are engaging in criminal acts, if there are people, there are other remedies which are political in nature. If they are not happy with how the city is being governed, bearing in mind that they are represented through their public representatives, the councillors, they can raise those issues within the internal structures which are provided for in the Municipal Structures Act. But you can't have a situation where you have all these avenues available to you, then you choose an unlawful cause of withholding payments, yet expect to be supplied continuously without paying.
So they, of course, admit that you could have won this particular battle this time around, and they wouldn't want to put their members through this kind of risk. However, maintaining, though, that the war is still on in terms of the correctness and the steadfast principle that they are standing on around accountability on how money is used and wasted within the municipality, and the losses that they are citing for the last 5 years amounting to 50 billion, saying that surely would amount to a budget of a year.
Yes, they are entitled to pursue those causes, and we are also equally entitled to put up our responses in the appropriate fora. And then the trial of fact, if it's a judge, then the judge will decide who is right and who is wrong. If the trial of fact is the electorate will decide who they choose when the elections come. But what they cannot do is to embark on an unlawful cause of embarking on payment boycott, yet expecting to be supplied with services. But following the lawful avenues, they are most welcome to do so.
And what's the status then on some of the service delivery charges that they are putting on? How will these be addressed?
As I indicated, they have got public representatives that sit in different committees and structures within the municipality, where officials who lead service delivery units are held to account. And we also have a municipal public accounts committee, which is MPEC, that looks at public expenditure and submits reports to council. All those avenues are available. And if there is an executive employee, even if it is the city manager, who is failing on his responsibilities, the council has got the power to hold that official to account. And they can even invoke disciplinary processes, and that official can even be dismissed. So there are lots of available legal options that can be followed. But as I said, unless we want to accept anarchy, we can't allow unlawfulness to prevail or chaos to prevail.
Yeah. What do you say to the other issue that they raise of inconsistency in how you are applying your credit control measures, when they point out, for example, of 35 council members and 3,013 municipal staffers who are in their arrears in terms of their municipal bills, but the kind of credit controls that you're putting on them are seemingly not applied to those individuals?
Well, they are welcome to bring forward to the municipality those cases of inconsistency, because you see, the credit control policy has got different categories of debtors. There would be indigent debtors who cannot afford to pay. there would be debtors who have approached the municipality and made arrangements to pay. But there would be debtors like themselves who have chosen not to approach the municipality. They have no difficulty with paying. They've even indicated they are diverting their payments to that trust account. So it's not even a question of affordability. They are refusing to pay as a matter of principle. So not every debtor will be treated in the same way. But if there are allegations that there are debtors to whom e-credit control policy is not being applied, then they must bring those forward and to the oversight committees like the MPEC.
So what does this judgment then effectively mean? What is going to happen now?
It means nothing changes. A customer who does not pay will not be supplied services. Or the customer who has not been disconnected but is accumulating arrears, they may be disconnected.
And the money now, of course, was held in a trust, as they're saying they're not avoiding payment. Will that bill still carry penalties, interest, and so on and so forth, whatever else that comes with it?
Of course, we have nothing to do with that trust account. So if there is no money that is paid against a certain invoice in the accounts of the municipality, the applicable interest and penalties would apply.
All right, Mr. Mhlongo, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. That Mr. Malusi Mhlongo, Head of Legal and Compliance there in the city of Ethekwini, following that court ruling there.